so many of the reference points, Audrey Hepburn in particular, I remember Eugene expressing that he wanted it to feel like the first time that you see her on screen in Breakfast at Tiffany's. And I certainly remember the first time I saw her. And to be honest, that felt like a very tall order because I've been working for over a decade, but have not really been in that leading lady space an awful lot. And I think that has to do with the industry, frankly. And so there was a part of me that, as much as I loved the idea and romanticized the idea of getting this sort of star treatment like that, I wasn't sure that I could. They were big shoes to fill, that sort of natural poise and charisma that those starlets had at that time. So much like Namdi, I love the idea of character being able to ask of me things that I'm uncertain I am capable of. I think that moment, that tension when you get an opportunity and then you have the impending dread as to whether or not you're capable of it, to me, that is the most exciting place from which to work. And then certainly this is something that Eugene has spoken about many times, but not allowing us as Black people the breadth of our humanity is a way of diminishing our humanity. And so I had worked on films like Selma, for example, that obviously center the movement. And I also, love to hold space for the idea that Malcolm had a lot of children and Martin had children, and they had children because they fell in love and they made love. And so this idea of centering that, of centering the interpersonal, I remember Eugene talking about if you could, really zoom in on a Gordon Parks photograph. And it's not to say that you take out the historical context, but that you decide for that moment in time to focus instead on the interpersonal. And I thought that was such an interesting idea, and certainly something that isn't done an awful lot. And then I started to think about all the incredible films that would have been made in the 50s and 60s that would have included Black and brown faces if that was in vogue during the time. And so I thought this was a really interesting way to make a film sort of in that spirit. And then I was so struck by Eugene's ability to also create a character that felt very modern and didn't feel like a throwback. Even in this time, being able to chart your own path is not something that's easy for all people. So I love that Sylvie's doing that and doing that in spades. I mean, she makes a couple of questionable choices, but I love that too.